Hello. I am in the mood to do some mood reading, and the thing I'm in the mood for is some romance, some contemporary romance, some lovey-dovey fun, right? I thought it would be fun to read some authors that I have never read before. So I've gotten into contemporary romance this year. I didn't read any really last year, and so I'm still quite new to the genre. So there's quite a few romance authors that I haven't read, and I felt like it would be fun to choose some of the most popular romance authors that I have on my shelves and to read a book from them. I thought for the first book we should pick potentially the most famous romance author that I have on my shelves that I haven't read. I thought I would read Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've never read Emily Henry before. Everyone loves her. I've specifically avoided spoilers for her books, so I don't know anything about what happens in this book. All I know is that it looks like a summary cover, so I feel like it should have summer vibes. This is a reading vlog, in case you didn't know, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this book and I'm going to update you at various points, and we're going to see how it goes reading Emily Henry for the first time. So I am 100 pages into Happy Place and I am eating it up. I didn't realise it was second chance romance, and that is historically something I don't like, but what I think she's doing well in here is that there are kind of two timelines, and you're seeing the beginning of the relationship and where the relationship is current day. It's also fake dating, which is a trope I do like, so maybe that's balancing it out. Do like Win. I really like Win, and I want there to be a good reason for him to have behaved the way he behaved to her. I don't want his actions to be based out of something trivial, so I'm hoping that there's some important reason for his behaviour that we have yet to discover. I really liked the writing. There was one line like about how it looked like a mansion had eaten a cottage and was pretending to be it, like the big bad wolf pretends to be a sheep. And I thought that was just so clever. There's just descriptions of things that I really like because they're humorous and they're funny and they're witty, and I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm really enjoying it. This has 5-star potential, my friends. I'm enjoying every second of it and I don't want to put it down. So I'm about 2/3 of the way into Happy Place. I don't know if this is an uncommon opinion or not, but I'm just finding it really sad. You have these two characters who so clearly have intense feelings for each other, and they're denying them for some reason that we don't know yet. So all I'm doing is watching these two characters fall in love, have this deep emotional connection, fight this connection as much as they can, and I don't know why. I don't know why they're fighting it, so I just feel sad for them. I feel sad that they haven't figured out a way to be together in the present day, and I want them to be happy, but I don't feel like I can root for them until I know the reason why they broke up in the first place, and I don't know what that reason is yet. There are some reasons that have been presented, but I don't feel like there's a real kind of trigger point for why it ended and why it ended so abruptly as well. So I just feel like I want to root for them. I really want to root for them, but I also don't know why they're not together. There are some really sweet moments, right, and their chemistry is really undeniable, but I feel like I'm holding myself back from like fully engaging with their romance until I can understand it better, because I just don't know why they're not together. I don't know why they had to break up in the first place. And until I know that, I can't decide one way or another if I want them to be together or not. What I will say, I'm really liking the writing. I love the way it can make you feel nostalgic without them being your memories. I really like when, I don't know, it's a good book, but I don't want to be sad anymore. I'm gonna finish it. I feel like I might cry talking about this book. I don't think I've ever read a story like this. It was so beautiful and heartbreaking, and I don't even have the words to describe how touching this book was for me. How it has such good messages and has beautiful characters and fantastic descriptions and this real understanding of what it's like to experience change and to grow and to evolve as a person. I have to sit on my rating for this. I finished it last night and I genuinely haven't stopped thinking about it. I didn't have any big emotional reactions to it when I read it, but it's just sticking with me in a way that most books don't. I feel like I've only had a handful of books that have really made me examine life in the way that this book has. I really wasn't expecting this. I was expecting a really light-hearted kind of romantic comedy, and instead I got this. And this was so much better than I could have ever thought it was going to be. I felt like I was holding my emotions in, not knowing how this was going to end, and actually having read the ending, now I just want to go back and re-experience the whole thing with that kind of perspective. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to choose a different book. I really want to read something on my Kindle so that I can be a tiny ball and just live today as a blob. I think I'm going to go with the Tessa Bailey. I know nothing about it, but it's called My Killer Vacation. An all-new spicy murder mystery. Those are all words I like. I like the cover. I like that the guy has tattoos, because apparently that's a thing I'm into. And I feel like it might be more light-hearted than Happy Place was. And I feel like something just kind of easy to read. Obviously, as with the theme of the video, I've never read Tessa Bailey before, but I'm going to start with My Killer Vacation and just see what I think of it. I'm 50-ish% through My Killer Vacation, and it's kind of exactly what I expected it to be. It's a lot of fun, it's a lot of flirting, it's a lot of almost spice, little bits of spice, but it's cute. Grumpy Sunshine, love me some Grumpy Sunshine. It's got that little sprinkling of murder mystery, which is fun, and I'm just having a fun time. This is kind of exactly what I wanted today, like just really easy. It's like quite a safe book, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna get massively surprised, you're not gonna not see stuff coming. It's a little bit silly. It's just a bit of fun. I can't say I'm noticing anything particularly spectacular about the writing, but I am having a good time, so that means it must be doing its job, you know what I mean? Like it's giving me what I wanted from this book. I think I'd call it like cozy. Like it's very funny and there is a murder. Like if I had to liken this to anything, I would liken it to Finlay Donovan, but spicier. Like the relationship is more at the forefront, but the vibes it's giving off is very similar to Finlay Donovan. It's a little bit ridiculous, it's quite funny, it's a bit absurd. I mean, this is probably going to get quite a high rating from me because I'm really having fun, but in comparison to Emily Henry's book, it's just nowhere near as profound. It's not dealing with the same type of topics or the same, like, it doesn't have the same kind of heartbreaking nature as Emily Henry had. The characters, while they do have some complexity to them, are remarkably kind of simple characters to get to know, and you're not waiting to discover more of them. You're just kind of presented with them at face value, and I like that you're getting both POVs. It's definitely something that I enjoy in a book. I like being able to understand the male main character more. So I'm pretty happy with how this is going. I'm standing to try and hype myself up, right? Like, I had a great time reading this book. I finished my Killer Vacation last night. Loved it. I'm going to save my ratings for the end because I didn't tell you Happy Place rating, so I'm not going to tell you my Killer Vacation rating. I had a great time. It was almost exactly what I needed. I love books that are romance with a sprinkling of mystery or thriller or intrigue. Like, I love it when there's just like a little touch of dark, a little touch of dark. But this is pretty high up there. My Killer Vacation is pretty high up there with some of my favourite romance with a hint of mystery. I feel full of angst this morning. I am grumpy and I want something that will echo my grumpiness. So I was going to read The Bodyguard by Katherine Center, but I fear my friends that this may be too happy for how I feel right now. So instead we're going to go through my Kindle and I'm going to see if I can come up with something maybe just a touch darker. I lied. I couldn't find a romance with a hint of darkness that I own. They're all either full-on dark romances or they're rom-coms. So we're going with something that I think might be just a little bit more emotional, I think would be the correct word for it. A little bit of a feelings-invoking book. And that is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. All I know is that it's a small town and it's a slow burn. I know people really like this author. It is yet another one I have never read, so this is going to be a new experience for me, and hopefully, like with the other two, I have a good one, so I have more authors I can choose from in the future. I have some news, and you might not be happy with me about it, but I have in fact finished All Roads Lead Here. I didn't update you for two reasons. One, this is potentially the slowest of any single book slow burn romances I have ever read. So I kept waiting for something to happen so that I could talk to you about it, and nothing happened. There wasn't any big updates until like 400 pages in. Like it was a long time before there was any kind of big updates. Like I was 100 pages in and I was like, they've talked 3 times. There's so much more of this book for them to get to know each other, and they did, and it was a really lovely story. This book does some things I really like. I really like small town. I really like older protagonists. I really like people rediscovering themselves. There's a lot of stuff in this book that I really liked, so I had a really good time reading it, but I never got to a point where I was like, I'll just put this down and talk to you about it and update you, because there wasn't a whole lot of updating to do. I really enjoyed it. I would read from Mariana Zapata again, but I think I would have to be in the mood for it because it's such a kind of long journey. You have to know what you're getting into with it. This isn't a like fast and easy romance. This is a long character exploration. So if any of her other books are like this, then I think I could really love them, but I would want to know that that's what I was getting into. I think we're going to do one more book. We're going to try one more thing, and we're going to do The Bodyguard by Katherine Center. Katherine Center I've heard a few things about. This book specifically interests me because it kind of goes against the norms with a female bodyguard, right? Like that isn't the normal dynamic in a rom-com. So I'm excited to see what that's like, and it's relatively short. It's almost exactly 300 pages, so I feel like I can get through this with relative haste. Promise to update you with this one. I won't read it all and then fill you in at the end. I'm just about halfway through The Bodyguard, and I have some thoughts. I'm having a good time, but I have thoughts. My first thought is that I don't love the main character. I wanted her to be like really freaking cool, and she's just kind of a mess. Not that there's anything wrong with being a mess, just that I thought she'd be able to separate more being a mess and being a bodyguard, and they're kind of bleeding together, right? Like she is going through some stuff personally, and it's kind of bleeding into her work life, and I don't love that. I wanted her to feel really strong and capable in her job, and she doesn't feel as single-minded as I thought she was going to. She has a lot going on, and that is affecting her work life. I like the main character a lot, right, but there is this thing he says to his brother about her made me not like him as much. I think that he's really sweet, and from what she can tell, he does a really good job at being kind to her and being understanding of her and being impressed by her, and I think that's really cool. But I just think that the thing he said was a little bit disgusting, if I'm honest. Like, I wouldn't ever want anyone to think about me that way. So we'll see if he kind of redeems himself from that. A lot of the people in this book are awful. Her mother is awful, her ex-boyfriend is awful, her best friend is awful. There's a lot of awful people in here. It's not surprising that she's messed up because she's just surrounded by terrible people. His family is not terrible, but the other people she lets into her life seem pretty crap, if I'm honest. But in complaining about those things, I am actually enjoying the book. I have laughed out loud. I have smiled out loud. I've been having a good time. I just think there's a few things off it being perfect. So I'm going to finish it now and then talk to you at the end, and then we'll do a little wrap up and everything will be grand. Dun, 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 dun. I have finished The Bodyguard. I had a fun time. It got a little bit silly, but I had a fun time. This is a no spice book, which surprised me. I don't know if all of Katherine Center's books are no spice, but this one, no spice. How do I feel about it? I had a good time. I feel like his declaration of why he loved her kind of missed the mark for me. I don't want to spoil anything, but what he said and what she took as a compliment is not something that I personally would take as a compliment. But I did have a fun time and I would recommend it. I think that if you're looking for something just like a little bit silly and fun and fast, then this was a good book for that. I would read from Katherine Center again. Good book, but not my favourite. So I think we're going to do a wrap up now of everything I read in this video, which is 4 books. And I think I'm going to do it in reverse favourite order, which also happens to be my reverse reading order. So we're going to start with The Bodyguard. I ended up giving this 3.5. I think that it was a good time. I think that the characters were kind of lovable. Although it includes someone famous, it's not really about fame. It's more about small town and family. And I think it had a good work-life balance for her in that you got to see quite of what she did behind the scenes, but you also didn't get overwhelmed by the fact that she was a bodyguard. She also just got to be herself. So I gave this 3.5, enjoyed it, but didn't love it. Before that we read All Roads Lead Here. I gave this 3.75. I was so close to loving it. I really enjoyed the slow burn, I really enjoyed the small town, I really enjoyed a lot of things about it. Grumpy Sunshine, good stuff. But I think it was just a little bit too long for me. More built of her external relationships rather than just the relationship between the 2 main characters. A little bit more of a found family vibe, which unfortunately didn't happen. I really liked the kid in this, and I liked the male main character, but the third act conflict, the conflict just before the end, wasn't handled well by the characters, I don't think. I think it could have been much less of a big deal had they just talked, and so I didn't love that third act conflict. Before that, I read My Killer Vacation. I'm going to put a picture up here because I read it on my Kindle. I gave it a 4. This was the best time I had with a book in that I had a really fun time. I ate it up. I genuinely liked both of the characters. I liked the writing. I liked the storyline and the fact that there was a little bit of a murder mystery involved. I had a really good fun time with that book, and I can see myself kind of rereading it. If I was like on a beach vacation, I think it would be a really fun time to just sit down and read this like slightly murder mystery romance book. So if that's your vibe, give it a go. And then finally we get to the first book I read in this video, which was Happy Place by Emily Henry. Oh no, big one. There was a spider situation. And now I'm scared. Ah. I'm being very brave, sitting in the same place I was when there was a spider. So if you could just like applaud me, that would be great. Thank you. Thank you very much. I gave this 4.5. I think this book was great, but it was just so heartbreaking. Like, the whole time I was just sat there being like, I don't know if being together is right for you. I don't know if I'm rooting for you to be together or not. Yeah, the whole time I just didn't know if I wanted them to be together or not. And by the end I did. I got there. I got to the point where I believed in them, and then it has a happy ending, so yay. But I will definitely read from Emily Henry again. There were just a couple of points where it dragged a little bit for me, where it just felt like going through the same, we can, we can't, we can, we can't, we can, we can't. That got a tiny bit repetitive for me. So other than that, really enjoyed this book. That's it, that's our little stack. These are the 3 I have. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. If you have any romance authors that you think I might not have heard of, or I might haven't read, that you think I'd really enjoy, let me know. For reference, I really like Lily Gold. I like the Lucy Score I've read. I like Ali Hazelwood. I like Abby Jimenez. It's rare for me that a romance will get 5 stars, but that doesn't mean I don't really enjoy them. So if you can think of any off the top of your head that you think I'd enjoy, let me know. And if not, that's okay. You don't have to. I understand. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking around while I read 4 whole books, and I hope to see you in the next video.